All right, so let's remember this simplex method thing. So let me summarize instead of reading this whole business. We're hiring some mercenaries from Middle Earth. There are humans who have 1 pound of meat consumption per day, 1 loaf of bread, 2 liters of beer, and nothing.
Why do you write 1 number of meat?
Pound.
Oh.
You guys not use that anymore?
1 hashtag of meat.
Well, yeah.
Kids with your damn hashtag.
1 ampersand.
Okay, so orcs do 4 pounds of meat and 5 liters of beer. Elves eat a loaf of bread and a half a liter of beer. And dwarves eat 2 pounds of meat, no bread, and 9 liters of beer per day. Okay, and then we have some supply limitations, right? So you can come up with 100 pounds of meat, 80 loaves of bread, and 400 liters of beer. Okay, humans make you 1 gold. Orcs make 3 gold. Elves make 5, and dwarves make 2. Okay, so I'm trying to optimize, right? My goal is to maximize my plunder per day with the resources that I have. So what do I need to write down first?
Your profit.
Equations?
Okay, I need some equations, right? Oh god, that's super tippy. Okay, so what are my equations?
1h plus 4 orcs plus 2 dwarves plus y1 equals 100. And then
Okay.
elves,
Less
they
than
don't
or
eat.
equal to 100.
Okay, so I'm going to put a 0 elves plus 2 dwarves is less than or equal to 100. Okay, so this equation, right, is my what constraint?
Meat.
That's your meat constraint. Okay? There's also a what constraint? What's my next one?
Bread.
There's a bread constraint and a beer constraint.
And a water. You used L.
Yeah, L's, liters.
Liters.
Okay, so your
Water.
bread is 1H plus
0
orcs don't eat bread apparently. That kind of figures. And 1 elf and
0b.
dwarves also don't eat bread. And that's supposed to be less than or equal to 80. Okay, and beer? 2 human plus 5R plus 1/2 E plus 9D is smaller than 400. You guys cool with this? So those are my constraints. Now what else? What else do I need here?
How much gold are you going to make?
Good. I need a profit equation. Something to maximize, right, Mike? Right? So plunder equation. So what's my plunder equation?
1 plus
1h
1
plus 3r plus 5e plus 2d.
1H plus 3R plus 5E plus 2D is what?
Equal to p.
Equal to P or Z or whatever? I think usually we use Z, but it doesn't really matter. You guys cool with that? Let's use P because that makes sense to me. Okay, so now that I've made I took my word problem, I summarized it into a pile of garbage. Then from the pile of garbage, I created constraint and a profit equation. Now what?
You have
Set
to
the profit
add-
equation to make sure it's not.
No, don't you have to do the extra stuff?
Good, I gotta sort out the slack, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanna make a simplex table. And when I'm making a simplex table, I need equations, not inequalities. You guys see that? Okay, so how do you add slack to these fast and easy?
Add a
Y,
variable.
1, 2, and make it equal.
Okay, so we're gonna swipe the in part of the equalities here and add variables. So I'm gonna add y1, y2, and y3.
You're missing equal sign.
And I lost an equal sign now. Cool, so I went through and I put in the slack. What else do I have to do?
Now you have to make your actual simplex method.
You have to move
Or you,
Z
oh, you're right.
to the other side first.
It's not move z, it's move,
The other
Everything
thing
else.
else.
yeah,
well,
move
yeah.
everything else to the z side of the equation, right? So I need to do minus 1h, minus 3r, minus 5e, minus 2d, plus p equals
0.
0. Guys see that? Okay, and then I go make a simplex. So I'm going to put my simplex thing over here because it's going to take a while to get through it. Okay, so I put my simplex over here. Simplex table looks like this. Give or take. Okay, so usually there's like numbers over here. Then what's the next column left?
The Z or P.
My profit in this case. And then there should be
Y3, Y2,
y3, y2, y1,
D, E, R, H.
d, e, r, h. Okay, and then what do I need to do with my table?
Plug it.
Plug in all the stuff. So my first constraint equation reads what?
1, 4, 0, 2, 1, 2. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it reads 1, 4, 0, 2, 1 for y1, 0 for the other two slacks, no p's, and 100. You guys cool with that? Okay, my second equation, what's that one going to read?
1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's a good shape.
Sounds like a very creepy numbers station. You guys know those still happen
What?
on shortwave radio? If you tune around a little bit, eventually you can find women or children usually just reading long strings of numbers
Really?
into the radio.
Why?
That's so creepy.
They're a relic from the Cold War.
No one really
They used to pass information to spies. The Americans used to pass information and the Russians used to pass information that way. How about that beer equation? What do you got?
2, 5, half,
2, 5, 1 half,
9,
9,
0,
0, 0,
0,
1, 0, 400, and
-1, -3, -5, -2, 0, 0, 0, 0, or 1.
cool. Okay, so now what do you see?
That's
What do
me.
I see?
Yeah.
Simplex.
See a lot of numbers.
I see a simplex table filled with numbers, right? Good. Okay. Which of those numbers is the most relevant for the first step?
-5.
Why is -5 the most relevant?
The biggest
The most constrained motion.
No, that's not constraint. That's a payoff, right? I can make them, right? Elves do the best job plundering, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is hire as many elves as I can, right? So like that's just my first thought. Hey, let's just hire a crap load of elves. So this is my biggest payoff. Now, how many elves can I hire?
That's for your most constraining constraints. You take the 180 and 400 and multiply them by 0, 1, and 1/2 respectively to find
Divide
So,
by whatever numbers.
take your number, divide by what's here.
Yeah.
So this first constraint, right, the meet constraint, says that 100 divided by 0 may as well be infinity, right? So according to the meet constraint, I can hire infinitely many elves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Elves don't eat meat, so that the fact that I only have 100 pounds of meat a day doesn't freaking matter for hiring elves. You guys see that? So there's no constraint from that one. From this middle one, I can hire 80 elves. Right? That's 80 divided by 1. That's telling me there are 80 loaves of bread to go around, right? And elves eat 1 per elf. So I can hire 80 elves from that. How many elves can I hire with the beer I've got? 800, right? 400 splitting a half liter of beer each, right? So this guy is my most constraining constraint, right? You see that? We're going to run out of bread first. So here's my bread thing. Here's my biggest payoff column. So what's my pivot? Boom, right here. Okay, so what do I do with the pivot?
You make it 1.
Okay, I make it 1, which it is, and then what?
And then you zero the other rows.
Okay, I gotta zero the other rows from that one, right? Okay, so I want to multiply this through by something convenient to get rid of those guys.
How about negative, or how about 5, and then add it to the bottom row?
Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 5 to get the bottom row. So 5, 0, 5, 0, 0, 5, 0, 0. 400? You guys see that? And in this one, I'm going to multiply through by
Negative a half.
negative a half. So negative 1/2, 0, negative 1/2, 0, 0, negative 1/2. Ooh, yep. 0, 0, and
40. Negative.
negative 40. You guys see that? Now I'm going to do that arithmetic, right? What's going to change about my first row?
Nothing.
Nothing. 1, 4, 0, 2, 1, 0, 0, 100. Just write that down. What's going to change about my second row?
Nothing.
Also nothing. The pivot was convenient. So I got 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 80. Okay. How about my 1.5? So 3 halves, 0, 0, 9, 0, minus 1/2, 1, 0.
I don't think that
Wait,
5 turns
isn't it
into
supposed
a
to be a
0.
5? Yeah, it should be 5.
Oh, yes, it should be 5. Thank you. So 3 halves, 5, 0, 9, 0, minus a half, 1, 0, and
360.
360. Okay. Now I've lost interpretation of that constraint. You all see that? That's okay. But that constraint, right, is no longer the, what was it before? It was kind of the beer constraint, right? And now I amalgamated it with the bread constraint a little bit. So I hesitate to interpret that one anymore. You guys see that? How about this bottom deal?
4,
I get it. 4, negative 3,
0,
0,
negative 2,
negative 2.
0. I can't read.
The heck number is that?
It's a 5.
It's a 5. Why is it a 5?
Okay, multiplied that by
Because I took this row, right? I took my pivot row and multiplied by 5.
0,
Zero.
1.
And then I got 0, 0,
0, 1.
Aha, 1. Thank you. And 400. You guys cool with this? Okay, so from here, what I can tell you is if I look at the columns that look like identity matrix, right? You guys see that? So this is a column out of the identity matrix, yeah?
Yeah.
We're talking about
ADLs.
ADLs, right? So this is me hiring ADLs. This reads what?
Yeah, no slack.
So this is first slack. Y1 is the leftover meat, and it's 100. Right? I didn't use any meat to hire elves, so there's leftover meat. Then this guy,
You have leftover beer.
there's leftover beer, 360 liters of it. I hired 80 elves, they each drink a half liter apiece. That used up 40 liters of my beer. You guys see that? This guy tells me my
Profit.
plunder is 400 gold per day. Hiring elves was a good decision. Okay, now what else have I got here?
You have more, you're going to get more profit.
You might hire some orcs.
Okay, I'm going to get some more profit, right? So right now I'm looking at, okay, I can't make anything more by hiring elves. Hiring humans would cost me something. Hiring dwarves or orcs is going to increase my profit, right? And orcs are better plunderers, right? So I'm going to try to hire some orcs. You guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I figure out, like, what did I do to pick that?
Because it's the biggest negative number in the optimization equation.
Perfect. In the bottom equation, right, I look for the biggest negative number. That's my biggest payoff. So I select the orc column. So I'm going to hire some orcs. How many orcs can I hire?
Your biggest constraint is the 100.
So out of this first constraint, I got 100 divided by 4 gives me 25, right? So that says from this constraint, I could hire 25 orcs. From this other constraint, that's 360 divided by 5. That's going to give me
72.
72. So remember, this is the, right? This 100 was the amount of meat I had left over. So if I use up all my meat to hire orcs, I can hire 25. If I use up all my beer to hire orcs, I can hire 72. But I want to have enough meat to feed them, right? And then they'll start to eat one another, and that's bad. Or worse yet, the elves.
Yeah.
Right? So I can only hire 25. So how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, change 4 to a 1.
Okay, I gotta isolate my pivot. So my pivot is in the most constraining constraint and the biggest payoff. So right here, my pivot. And I need to make that 1.
Would it matter when you change the 4 to a 1?
Would it matter when? No. No. It's going to be easiest to do it now. But yeah, if it's convenient to add it first to something.
Like if it was a 3.
Yeah, like if this -3 were a 4, right? Then I'd probably be looking at eliminating it with the pivot row I have.
Okay.
So for right now, I'm just going to change that top row to make that a 1. So what do I get? What do I need to do?
Divide by 4.
I need to divide by 4. So help me out with the arithmetic here. So I think I get a quarter, 1, 0, 1 half,
Quarter.
a quarter, 0, 0, 0, 25. And then middle one doesn't change. 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 80. And 3 halves, 5, 0, 9, 0, minus a half, 1, 0, 360. And in the bottom, I've got 4 minus 3, 0 minus 2, 0, 5, 0, 1, 400. Okay, now what?
You have to give it 5 to the negative 3 equal to 0.
Okay, so I need to target this and that. So this is where things are going to get messy, right? So what do I need to do for this row?
Multiply by negative 5 and add them together.
Okay, I need to multiply this top row by negative 5 and then add them together. So I'm going to get negative 5 quarters, minus 5, 0, minus 5 halves, minus 5 quarters, 0, 0, 0, minus 125, I think. Uh-huh. Yeah, arithmetic's hard. How about the other one? What do you multiply by? Okay, take your pivot row, right? Multiply by 3. So I got 3 quarters, 3, 0, 3 halves, 3 quarters, 0, 0, 0, and 75. You guys all see that? Okay, so then rewrite. Yeah, not going to be done here. How do I know I'm not going to be done here?
Because you're not getting rid of
Because you're still going to have to make
So this is going to be positive, right? That's going to be 0, that's going to be 0.
that'll still be negative.
Crap, I'll still be able to manage to hire a human or two out of this.
No, you won't.
No, that's not humans.
Dwarves.
I'll be able to manage to hiring a dwarf or two. You guys see that? Because I'm going to have a schmack load of beer left over, right? And so there's going to be a little payoff for, I can use some of the extra beer to hire some dwarves and replace a couple of orcs out of that. So, first row, a quarter, 1, 0, 1 half, 1 quarter, 0, 0, 0, 25. Next row.
Same as before.
Same as before. 1, 0, 1.
0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 80.
Perfect. And the bottom row is,
1 quarter.
so 3 halves is 6 quarters, minus 5 quarters is 1 quarter. 0, 0. 9 is 18 halves.
So it's 13 halves?
So I'm left with 13 halves, minus 5 quarters, minus 1 half, 1, 0, and
235.
235. Nice. Okay, and your bottom row becomes
19 fourths.
19 quarters, 0, 0, negative 1 half, 3 quarters, 5, 0, 1, 475. You guys cool with us? To interpret the vertex I'm at, where am I?
What?
What's my army consist of at this point?
25 orcs, 80 elves.
Good. So this says there's 25 orcs. This says there's 80 elves. And then what the heck does this say?
You have extra beer.
There's 235 liters of beer kicking around. And my plunder is 475 gold per day. Cool? All right. Let's identify the next step and then we can call it a day on this because I don't think we have time to actually finish it. So what's your next step?
Find your next constraint, most constraining constraint.
Hire some dwarves.
Okay, so here's my biggest payoff, right? Really, it's my only payoff, is to hire some dwarves. Because there's, right, crap loads of beer left. May as well use some of it. Okay, and then what?
See, 25 divided by 1 half is 50.
Okay, so this is 25 divided by 1 half, right? Tells me there's 50 there. And I really lost track of what this one means. You guys see that? I don't really quite know what that one means. That's okay. How about this one? That one's infinity, right? And this bottom one is 235 divided by 13 halves. How big is 13 halves? Ballpark?
6.5.
6 and some change. So that'll go in here.
It'll be bigger than 50.
Bigger than 50? Oh God, get a calculator.
He has one, right?
What's
It's
235
like
divided by 6.5?
9.03.
Really?
That's what I got. I may have done it wrong.
No.
No. No, that should be give or take
Close to 100.
4.
No. Yeah, you're right.
If this is about 6, that's about 24
You're right.
times 10. This should be give or take 40.
Numbers.
That is hard.
Math is super hard sometimes.
Arithmetic.
That's what I did.
Arithmetic's really hard.
36.
Okay,
And then a little more, but it rounds
so we
to
get 36 point something. So which one's our most constrained constraint? This one? This one. So there's our most constraining constraint, and this is exactly why I'm not going to finish this problem. Right?
Yeah.
Remember, the directions for this one didn't say to finish it, right? They just said to make a simplex table. So we went quite a bit further than that.
Can you make it easy numbers one more time?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
They were easy numbers on the test, too.
Well, I mean,
For
but
the
if we
task.
But I didn't expect you to finish this,
I
right?
know, but
So
if we
it,
have to finish it, can you fill in that?
yeah, if you're going to go further, don't worry. These numbers will be relatively convenient.
Okay.
Cool? I'm going to stage this out again because I don't really expect you guys to do this much arithmetic and not
Without
make
messing up.
small errors.
Without getting 100.